Hi everyone, my name is Chan Yiheng, method number 294045. Question number 1 is currency appreciation compared to the currency depreciation. Currency appreciation means the domestic currency becomes stronger and can buy more of the another currency. For example, if 1 AUD is equal to RM 3.1 and later become RM 2.9, it means RM has appreciated because now you need favor ringgit to buy 1 AUD. Currency depreciation means the domestic currency become weaker and buys less foreign currency. For example, if 1 AUD is equal to RM 3.1 and later become RM 3.3, so RM has depreciated because it now take more ringgit to buy 1 AUD. So always compare the old and new rates. If the domestic currency value fall relative to the foreign one, is depreciation. It raise its appreciation. Question number 2 is the comparison between the nominal and the real exchange rate. Nominal exchange rate is the rate you see in the market today for exchanging one currency for another, and the real exchange rate adjusts the nominal rates to account for difference in price level, so it's inflation between the countries. So the formula real exchange rate is equal to the nominal exchange rate multiplied by foreign CPI divided by the domestic CPI. So for example, if RM per USD stay as 4.2 but Malaysia inflation is higher than US inflation, so that the real exchange rate will fall. So in conclusion, this make Malaysia good cheaper to foreigner, improving export competitiveness even if the nominal exchange rate is stable. Question number 3 is comparison between the spot and the forward market. Spot market is currency is exchanged immediately at the current rate, and the forward market is agreement to exchange currency at a future date at a pre-agreed rate. So use a case example. A Malaysian company need to pay USD 100,000 in 3 months if they lock in a forward rate at RM 4.25 per USD, they avoid risk of the RM weakness. So if they wait and the RM weakness to RM 4.35 per USD, they need to pay RM 435,000 instead of the RM 425,000 for, so the forward market protect them from the risk. So let's move on to the question number 4. So real exchange rate using CPI and the nominal rates. So we will use the real exchange rate formula again. Real exchange rate is equal to the nominal exchange rate multiplied by foreign CPI divided by domestic CPI. So given the initial is equal to 3.8 multiplied 100 divided by 105, so the answer is 3.619. So if you use the final is 3.6 multiplied by 102 divided by 110. So the answer is 3.338. So for the interpretation, real exchange rate decline. Malaysia could become relative more expensive, so lower competitive in Japan. So we move on to the question number 6. So we have the RM 150,000 investment in UK or in Malaysia. So Malaysia, we will use the formula to calculate. So in Malaysia, we use 150,000 multiplied by 1.02. So we will get RM 153,000. So if you invest in UK, we need to convert to GBP. So it's 150,000 divided by 5.5, so is equal to GBP 27272.73. So interest gain 2 is 2727.73 multiplied by 1.032. So we will get GBP 28145.45. So we will convert back it to the RM. So is GBP 28145.45 multiplied by 5.3. So we will get the answer is RM 149,171.89. So Malaysia return yield higher return. So in conclusion, UK return is RM 149,171.89. So better to invest in Malaysia. Move on to question number 7. Long forward position is you agree to buy foreign currency in the future used by importer. So the short forward position is you agree to sell foreign currency in the future used by the exporter. So for example, a Malaysian exporter expecting GBP revenue can lock in forward RM per GBP rate now to avoid the loss if the GBP fall. Question number 8. So we get the spot rate is equal to RM3 per AUD. So 9-month forward rate is equal to RM3.05 AUD. So the forward premium of discount tell us whether a foreign currency in this case is expected to be more or less expensive in the future compared to today. This is useful for hedging and the forecasting. So we will use the formula to calculate. So it's the forward rate minus by the spot rate divided by the spot rate multiplied by 12 divided by number of the month in forward contract multiplied by 100. So we will get the answer is 2.22%. So since the result is positive, this means the AUD is trading at a forward premium, or in other words, the RM is at a discount relative to the AUD in the forward market. So move on to question 11. A Malaysian exporter expect to receive EUR 100,000 in 6 months and it deciding whether to use a forward contract or wait for the future spot rate. So the forward rate is RM 5.08 per EUR and the expected spot rate after the 6 months is RM 5.2 per EUR. So step 1, we need to calculate the RM proceeds using the forward contract. So we need to use the RM 100,000 multiplied by 5.08. So we will get the answer is RM 508,000. So if we use the spot rate is 100,000 multiplied by the 5.2 is equal to the 520,000. So in conclusion, the exporter would have received RM 12,000 more if they had wait to use the expected spot rate. So therefore, locking in the forward contract was not beneficial in this case. So move on to question 13. So we need to compare the absolute purchasing power parity to the relative purchasing power parity. So the APPP is the theory that identical goods should cost the same across country when prices are converted using the exchange rate. So the formula is the exchange rate is equal to the price of the good in the domestic country divided by the price of the good in the foreign country. So if this condition hold, there should be no arbitrage opportunities. So we move on to the RPPP. RPPP is focused on the inflation over time, not just price level. It states that the rate of the change is exchange rate between two countries equal the difference in the inflation rate. So the formula is future exchange rate minus current exchange rate divided by the current exchange rate is equal to the inflation rate in domestic and the foreign country. So the key difference is the APPP deal with the price level at a specific point in time, and the RPPP deal with change in price level over time. So APPP is more theoretical and RPPP is more realistic in the international economics. Question 16. The laptop in Malaysia is RM 4,500 ringgit and in US is 1,000 US dollar. So we will use the absolute purchasing power parity. So the formula is the theoretical exchange rate is equal to the domestic price divided by the foreign price. So we will calculate the theoretical exchange rate is 4,500 divided by 1,000 is equal to the 4.5. So compare with the market exchange rate. Market exchange rate is RM 4.6 per USD dollar. So the theoretical rate is equal to RM 4.5 per USD dollar. So since the market risk is higher than the theoretical rate, so the RM is undervalued or the USD is overvalued. This means the APPP does not hold. Move on to the question 17. The book in UK is 40 pound and in US is 60 US dollar. So step 1, we need to use the APPP formula. The formula is the exchange rate is equal to the price in USD divided by price in GBP. So we will calculate the theoretical exchange rate first. So we will use the 60 divided by the 40. So it's equal to the 1.5. So it's equal to GBP 1 is equal to 1.5. So compare with the market exchange rate. The market exchange rate is GBP 1 is equal to USD dollar 1.4. So we will calculate the equivalent USD value of the UK book at market rates for so 40 multiplied by 1.4, so it's equal to 56 USD dollar. So we need to compare the price. So in UK, the book convert is USD 56 and in US is 60. So the book is cheaper in the UK when the convert at the market rate. So every trade opportunity is buy in UK for 56 US dollar and sell in US for USD dollar 60. So the profit is USD dollar 4 per boat excluding the cost. So since there is a price difference when adjusted for the exchange rate, APPP does not hold. Arbitrage opportunity exists due to the price inefficiency. Move on to the question 20. We need to calculate the APPP. So the market rate is the CHF1 is equal to the US dollar 0.85. So we use the formula. Theoretical exchange rate is equal to price in US divided to the price in CHF. So the theoretical rate is 90 divided by the 100. So we get the answer is 0.9. So compare is the market rate is the 0.85 and the use the theoretical is the 0.9. So conclusion, CFF is undervalued. Buy in the Switzerland for the US dollar 85, sell in US for the US dollar 90. So the profits with is US dollar 5. So the arbitrage is exists. Move on to question 22. So the demand for the Japanese yen represent the Malaysian who want to buy the Japanese yen. As the exchange rate increase, Japanese yen become more expensive, so demand will be increased. In the supply of the Japanese yen represent the Japanese of the business who want to exchange Japanese yen for RM. As the exchange rate increase, they get more RM for Japanese yen, so supply will be increased. So equilibrium point when demand equal to supply, increase the demand is some product. Demand curve will shift to the right, supply curve shift to the right when more Japanese tourists visiting the Malaysia. So move on to the question 24. We need to use the UIP to calculate the expected future spot rate after 1 year. So the annual interest rate in Malaysia is 2.5% and in UK is 4.5%. So we use the formula to calculate the UIP after 1 year. So expected future spot rate is equal to the current spot rate multiplied by 1 plus Malaysia interest rate divided by 1 plus UK interest rate. So we get 5.3 multiplied by 1 plus 0.025 divided by 1 plus 0.045. So the final answer is Rm 5.197. So in conclusion, Rm is expected to appreciate since our interest rate is lower than the UK. The last question is about the real interest parity derivation. First of all, we need to know the Fisher equation. The formula is the nominal interest rate is equal to the real interest rate plus the inflation rate. In step 2 is the reactive PBP is expected future spot exchange rate minus current spot exchange rate divided to the expected future spot exchange rate is equal to the inflation domestic minus inflation foreign. In the step 3 is the UIP. UIP's formula is expected future spot exchange rate divided to minus current spot exchange rate divided to expected future spot exchange rate equal to the interest rate domestic minus interest rate foreign. And the step 4 we need to combine the relative PPP and the UIP. So interest rate domestic minus interest rate foreign is equal to the inflation domestic minus inflation foreign. So conclusion, if both PPP and UIP hold, real interest rate must be equal across the country. So that's all from me. Thank you for your watching. Bye.